This is the Brave Ideas Podcast, brought to you by Aqua. Welcome to episode 21 of the Brave Ideas Podcast, the show that is all about bringing to light fresh perspectives from the worlds of digital and marketing. I'm Dan Herman. I'm a digital strategist. I'm Netflix and chilling, and I have a Hello Kitty banner by my desk. And today I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Esther. I'm head of conversation analytics at Aqua, and probably the only person who watches Star Wars who's quite annoyed with the fact that Chewbacca gets called Chewie. We are really proud to announce the launch of the Brave Ideas blog, which you can find at aquaonline.com/Brave Ideas Podcast. Go there, it's awesome. There's more content, links to the shows that we're talking about, and of course, more content from our special guests. Also, if you would like to get involved in the conversation, please send us a tweet with the hashtag #AquaBraveIdeas or follow Aqua on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Today, we are really excited to have as our guest Sisana Nxumalo, social media community manager at Aqua. Sisana is a rampant foodstagrammer and has an exact doppelganger. And today, she's going to talk to us about hashtags. Sisana, what's new?
Hi guys, so what's new is Twitter's hashtag ads, but better than that, it's the rate at which people are using hashtags in their daily lives. It's actually become a part of speech. At times I'm like, hashtag yes Eleanor, that's my boss by the way.
Okay, so in terms of hashtags, we're gonna have to start with unpacking the evolution of the hashtags, so to say. What are they, where did they come from, and what have they become?
So yeah, a little history about the hashtag is a couple of years ago in 2007, an ex-Google employee, he used the hashtag in his tweet. And obviously Twitter, being the big boss that it is, picked that up and started implementing it. So they started hyperlinking it in people's tweets. And then in 2010, they introduced the trending topic. So yeah, hashtags have evolved since 2007.
I mean, hashtags haven't just evolved in so much, have they become like a huge part of everyday life,
popular culture,
and the world. I mean, there are hashtags for everything now. I mean, I remember the first hashtag I used.
Was it hashtag I'm Dan?
Hashtag follow Friday. No, you don't say that.
Did you say hashtag I'm awesome? Because that's what I'd expect from you, Dan.
But I think it would be quite interesting for me to, like, just for our listeners,
Subject
and
change.
there may be under some rock somewhere some people who have no idea anything about this. So like what is a trend? How do hashtags relate to trends? But talk more a bit about that for us.
Okay, so yeah, hashtags are basically a way of collecting a conversation. So it pulls all those conversations that have that hashtag. For example, you said the first hashtag that you started with was hashtag follow back Friday. Awesome hashtag. What you do is you simply give us a follow back reason. So why do I want to follow Dan? Say, because he's hashtag awesome. And then from there, Twitter just collates all those conversations. So it just allows you to be part of a unified conversation.
Hashtag, that's great. Hashtag, I would like to say something.
Hashtag, I'm going to kill you if you use another hashtag.
You see, hashtags can be really violent and evil.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, I think that there's no question around, as I said earlier, it's a massive part of popular culture, and it's started to take trends. And I think that in South Africa we've seen the power of the hashtag take on a whole new shape and form with all the different kinds of social movements that have evolved as a function or bounced off social media conversations. So I'd be quite interested to hear your perspective as to why hashtags have so much power.
So speaking of the South African hashtag, I think it's awesome that South Africa was actually put on the map for being digitally savvy in the Twitter sphere with our hashtag Fees Must Fall. I mean, you guys know that it became such an enormous thing across the world. London, the US, just everybody started backing the students. So it was awesome that South Africa, we're not really the most digital savvy country. So that was awesome to see. But the power of hashtags is really in the fact that we can project our opinions in a place where people are prepared to listen. Yes, people will criticize your opinion on Twitter, for example, but using the hashtag allows you to freely say what you want to say. Now, I'm saying this with limitations because I'm not saying go out on Twitter, use a hashtag and be aggressive or rude or, impolite. But all I'm saying is that the power of the hashtag allows people to collectively express their opinion. If you think about it, a hashtag is almost the equivalent to your vote in 1994.
Yeah.
Now in 2016, you're using hashtag Fees Must Fall. I mean, you're backing that movement.
So, I mean, what I really like about what you're saying is this idea that hashtags give individuals power. Hashtag give individuals the power to have an opinion about a global or local or regional issue that matters or impacts on their lives, or to disagree or challenge that opinion. And what I find really fascinating about the South African context is this idea that people feel disempowered in the real world, so they grab power or appropriate power through language and through tweets on social media. I don't know what you think, Kirst.
Well, I actually was going to ask, like you mentioned power and that it has power, but does a hashtag really change the world? And perhaps you have some examples of that, Sisana, of like real stories, because we've seen in many cases people want to join the conversation and use a hashtag to do so, but not really taking any further step to, change any physical issues. So we say that it does have power, we say that it does bring people together, but what has a hashtag really ever changed?
So talking back to your example, we can't necessarily be in the movement, but we can be part of the movement with a hashtag. So probably the best example is hashtag bring back our girls. So myself, as somebody sitting in South Africa, whether I couldn't go to Nigeria and be like, yo, rebels, bring back the girls, I could participate in that global conversation. So when that happens, it allows organizations like the UN to really hear what society is speaking about and sort of bring our views and our opinions to light.
So I actually want to pick up on something you mentioned around this idea of like slacktivism and how social medias enable people to say without really doing, and the question around whether an aggregation of tweets is enough to drive real change and real action and do something.
Yeah.
And I think that what's fascinating for me is to see how power structures, and whether that's an imagined thing or not, like how power structures actually bow to the power of the crowd via social media and are reacting to it. And I think it's a trend, we saw it with the Arab Spring. We saw it with, Fees Must Fall is a great example where government took action, maybe not to the extent that the students wanted, but took action on the basis of social media conversation. And I think like what for me is a challenging thing that I'm grappling with as a human being in this world today is the question is whether that can be abused. Like whether that power of the hashtag is actually open to misappropriation by forces that are trying to change ideologies to suit their own objectives. So, I mean, not to say that it's like the example I would use is the EFF's pay back the money. Not to say that what they're asking for is wrong. They're asking for a president to be held account for alleged corruption. But the idea that a political party can get a hashtag trending to build their own support and drive their own ideology. When you tweet that hashtag, you are passively supporting a political party who may have very different views in terms of what you actually want. So, and I think that's like serious. Like it's a serious issue, and I can only really see it getting worse and being more misappropriated. I'd like to hear your opinion, Sisana.
Yeah. So look, like there's two sides to every hashtag, right?
Yeah.
So you can use a hashtag in the manner that it's expected to be used. So example, because we're talking about fees must fall right now, I'm part of that conversation. I say, no, look, increasing the fees is ridiculous. We know we're going to knock out a huge chunk of the population trying to study. Hashtag fees must fall. Awesome, Sisana, that's my opinion. Let's put it out there. But this morning I saw an above-the-line advert saying low data costs must fall. Now the issue there is that hashtag was specifically used to create awareness about an issue, not for advertising. You see, that's the bad side of the hashtag. You're just taking it to almost promote your own product. Now, It's quite insensitive if you think about it. And I think that's the biggest risk with just using a hashtag just to be part of the conversation. So I think, there's definitely two sides to a hashtag.
Yeah.
Bringing it back then to our world, our marketing digital agency vibe world, where we are for clients coming up with hashtag strategies and helping them join conversations, etc. What is your opinion about brands and corporates, etc., getting involved in hashtag creation and those type of conversations?
So I think that's fantastic, but again, one must take a lot of time and thought behind developing a hashtag. You can't just out of the blue be like, hashtag my brand is awesome, because the issue there is that we need to be able to track this hashtag it needs to be relevant to your brand, and it also needs to live in people's conversations. So the issue most of the times is that people don't think about their hashtag, and what happens is it lives in, for example, the past tense. So now hashtag we were awesome. That's cool, except when I want to put up a post and have an image of me at the event. We were awesome, no, but I'm in the event, so how was I awesome? So you've got to kind of think of the hashtag that you want to use.
Your social rules and grammar still apply.
Yeah, precisely. It needs to be versatile and needs to live in my entire life, not just when I'm at that event. Because the hashtag also needs to travel outside of that event. So after the event, we want to continue with this campaign. We want to make it live, but now we stuck it to a time or a date or a specific limitation. So you've got to think about your hashtag. Don't just create one haphazardly and think it's going to be awesome.
And I also really think a hashtag has to go somewhere. It has to lead somewhere. And I think that what we struggle with is we often, we're the digital social guys, and we often see the print ads with just a random hashtag.
Yeah,
hashtag
magazines as well, love that.
Like the campaign is defined within a hashtag, and that's cool, provided that hashtag has some form of action or interest attached to it. But when it's just for the purposes of communicating a campaign name, and why do you think people are going to tweet that?
Yeah, there's no problem with trying to close that loop between digital and print, and keep going. No problem with that, but can't just put it on a magazine and be like hashtag Dior for the win. Come on. You know what I mean? How am I going to now put this in my life? When I pick up that magazine, do I have to take a selfie with it, hashtag Dior for the win?
And I think that it's also what's really fascinating for me is, even if you look at it from a linguistics or as a semiotics perspective, hashtags are rich. Hashtags are it's language taken to a new level because there's so much meaning behind hashtags. So the great example I think about is on Instagram where you hashtag emoji.
Yes.
And it's so powerful because when you hashtag two girls dancing or whatever, you see a visual library on Instagram of all these girls dancing, and it just gives so much meaning to an emoji.
Yeah.
Where hashtags are the same. If it's hashtag Throwback Thursday, the meaning of that is so rich. There's so much nostalgia. There's so much memory. There's so much everything in that one succinct piece of language. And I just think that's what brands miss. Yeah. Brands miss the point. The point of a hashtag is that it becomes the word steak. It's everything related to your experiences eating a steak. It's all of it in one. It's so powerful. It's so rich. And when you see it through the eyes of the community or through the eyes of your friends or through all these different pieces of content, it's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
A hashtag actually brings us back to what you're saying, an emotion.
Yeah.
But I'd really like to know if there has been an example of a brand who's been able to plug into that type of emotion that their consumers are feeling and do it properly.
So probably the best example, I think, is during Tour de France, when they used the hashtag Tour de France and the bicycle came up. I think that's awesome because not only was it appealing to people in the cycling world, but also outside. I'm not a cycler per se, but when I saw that, I was I want in on this. Not because it was just trending, but because it's
you could connect with
I'm connecting with it. Africa was doing well, we're all cheering for our team. Then I got to participate in this global hashtag, and it just it was relevant to everyone.
But and I love that because what it and it just goes to that whole point. When you look at a hashtag and you click on it, it taps into the emotions and the feelings of millions and millions of people, and you're so connected. And if you miss that, miss the point of that, and if you're disconnected and you invent your own hashtags, or if you're misappropriating the wrong hashtags for your purpose, you're
if you use 50 hashtags
exactly.
in one
But what you're doing, which could be cool because they can all have resonance relative to that. But I think that what you're doing is you're interrupting what people are there to experience with hashtags, which is to be part of a collective.
Yeah.
To tap into emotions and to feel what everyone else is feeling at the same time. So rich, so powerful.
Well, Sisana, this has been an incredible conversation about hashtags. If there's one last thing that you would like to take out and leave with the listeners, what would it be?
It will probably be join in the conversation, have fun, be smart about the hashtags that you're creating, and just, be authentic with your hashtagging.
Sisana, if people want to find out more about this topic and find out more about you, what do they need to do?
So they can follow me on Twitter. It's my first name, Sisana, and then _Nxumalo, or hashtag where the hell you been. My tweets will come up.
Tell us quickly a little bit about where the hell you've been.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Kanye West, right? But this hashtag just sums up everything. It's almost like an exclamation mark of a hashtag. So let's say, I don't know, somebody's trying to diss me on social media. I'm like, hashtag where the hell you been?
So, Sisana, thank you. And thank you to our listeners for listening to the Brave Ideas podcast. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. And while you're there, give us a rating, a review, or a comment. If you want to keep in touch with me, Dan, you can follow me at elhermo, that's ELHERMO on Twitter, and elhermo23 on Snapchat and Instagram. And you can follow Esther.
Simply Esther McGeer on Instagram.
Thank you so much to Sisana, our guest. Thanks to Matthew Klevansky for music and production. Thanks to Johan Buerta and Eris Host for the art direction. And once again, thank you to Sisana for managing our social media.
That brings us to the end of the show. We'd like to leave you with one final thought. There are no original ideas, only original people.